Currently, we're on the part where we're talking about the relying on a spiritual friend. To continue from last class, over here Potowa elaborates, even though one may be weak, if one accompanies an excellent friend, he will not allow one to be mistaken about the correct path. He will help one to protect one's vows and engage in all that is virtuous. If a person who's weak, who's not good at anything, not knowing any better, but such kind of person, if such kind of person were to be accompanied by a spiritual friend, then such kind of friend would not allow one to be mistaken about the correct path. Such kind of person would not let you be indolent, would not let you to break your vows. I think lots of the beginners or the newcomers who first arrive here, who lacked provisions and lacked wisdom and lacked wealth, when they first came here, they do not know anything but has lots of wrong views and different kinds of faults. But after coming here, I'm sure it's already much better. At least this is a place where people would engage in the study of Mahayana. Within this place, within this monastic group, if one were to work for fame, for wealth, for the benefit of oneself, then that is indeed not successful. People may complain about, oh, this is not good here, that is not good there. That is really not necessary, because if you were to make such kind of complaints, then that it really shows your mind is not pure. That is why whatever you perceive is not pure. Wherever there are the mundane beings would gather, then they would complain about all kinds of things. When I went to Africa, I specifically want to know what people think about the others. And I also heard that people would complain about their authorities, about other people. So we can see that it is not just here, it is the mundane beings everywhere. They would complain about the others. They would see the faults of the others. When people first come here, they don't have a place to live, they don't have the basic provisions, they have very little merit, they have lots of illness, have no money, have terrible character, but we can see that those kinds of people indeed have their flaws and they exhibit the lack of merit. But even to these kinds of people, we should try our best to help them. A spiritual teacher not only would be responsible to you, they would help you to protect your vows, and they would help you to guide you onto the correct path. In Tibet, we would say that, oh, if my child wants to get ordained, I really hope that my child would be able to find a good teacher. Menshe's mother also has great wisdom. She knows the importance of environment and company. That is why she moved a few times so that Menshe would be able to grow up in a good environment. Patrul Rinpoche also stated that if one were to be affiliated with someone with great desire, then their desire would increase. Similarly, it applies to anger and faith and compassion as well. Over here it says that in order to develop his qualities further and further, the beginner who has no understanding of the Dharma at all depends entirely on a master of a great vehicle. Because the great Mahayana spiritual teacher, in their mind stream, there is compassion and bodhicitta. Such a kind of genuine bodhicitta can influence the others. This is quite crucial, because if you don't have such kind of qualities, doesn't matter how beautiful you can use your words, there is no such transformative power within their speech. It is not going to change others' mind stream. Until he attains mental stability, he must not separate from the master for even a short while. Therefore, one must persist in following a spiritual teacher. It means that if the teacher were to give the teaching of the Dharma, you should try your best to follow the teaching of the teacher. It doesn't mean that you should follow the teacher wherever the teacher goes. It is that in order to attain mental stability, you should try your best to apply the teachings unto yourself.
然后如果对上师没有
Moreover, he elaborates, if one has no respect for the masters, then no benefit will come even if one were to attend the Buddha. Over here, the example is, for example, Devadatta, whom served the Buddha for 22 years. Was it 22 years?
没落年里边的教育系，我能懂讲吗？对，就是应该22年。
Yes, 22 years.
但是除了一村逛以外，就是没有看到你的功德，所以说。
Devadatta said that I've attended you for 22 years. I only see that you have this ring of light around you. Other than that, I don't see other merits and virtuous qualities of you. That is why in Tibet we would say that if you do not have devotion, if you do not have respect to the teacher, it might be better for you to keep some distance from the teacher. In such a way, you would not generate wrong views to the teacher at least. Sometimes, if you get too close to the teacher, for people without a pure mind, then they would generate wrong views of them. They would feel that, the teacher also has the three poisons just as I do. And then it's very easy for such people to generate wrong views and then lose their respect. Look at the Buddha. Even by relying on the Buddha, Devadatta would see lots of faults of him. So what is the most crucial is respect and pure mind and the sacred outlook. If you were to have sacred outlook wherever you are, by relying on the teachings given through books, audios, videos, you are relying on the teacher. There is not much of a big difference. And then Karakpa said, follow a sacred master who is endowed with the qualities of learnedness and purity and is free of worldly concerns. Moreover, he said, in a person without faith, not the slightest good qualities of any kind will appear. Therefore, follow a spiritual teacher and read the sutras. Not only you need to rely on a good spiritual teacher, you need to read more sutras too. In the middle school that I funded, the requirement for them is to read 100 books within a year. There is a reward given to someone who can read 100 books per year. But as monastics, how many books do you read a year? As monastics, you don't need to exert your effort in farming, in business, in war. You don't need to do any of those. All you need to do is to study and contemplation and practice. You don't need to earn money to live. Not many people in this world have such opportunity to live their life without striving to earn money. Nowadays, people had to strive for their livelihood. Some people would have to work all the way from early morning to very late in the evening, but even like that, they would not be able to make a good livelihood. By staying here, if you don't spend your time wisely in studying contemplation, if you were to sleep in every day, if you were to be indolent every day, and then start to have frivolous speech every day, talking about the talking ill about the others every day, then it might be better for you to stay somewhere else. And New Grumpa said, give rise to the notion of your spiritual master as being like a wish-fulfilling jewel, and of your excellent friends as being like a strong fortress. A spiritual friend is just like a wish-fulfilling jewel that can fulfill all kinds of wishes of sentient beings. And a good companion would be able to protect you, just like a fortress. When your family members try to get you back and get you derobed, then your companion would say, no, that person's not here. I've never seen such a person. So they would protect you just like a fortress. And then Jeyuwa said the following: always follow a spiritual friend, since he is the one who shows the path to liberation and omniscience. Jeyuwa himself provided an extraordinary noble life example of correctly following his spiritual friend. As for the need for finding inspiration in the example of sacred beings who have superior qualities to one's own, Puchunwa said, I study all the life examples of sacred ones. They are my inspirations. Whenever we look at the qualities of the others, we need to look at their noble qualities. We need to keep our eyes wide open when it is time to see their virtuous qualities and noble qualities. And whenever we see that they exhibit any kinds of faults, we need to close our eyes right away. This is a true practitioner. Otherwise, people tend to see only mistakes and faults of the others, but not the noble qualities of the others. But nowadays, I think people tend to zoom into others' faults, but not the virtuous qualities. This is a dangerous path. If you were to keep on looking at other people's faults, then you would be habituated in it. There are people who has such kind of habitual tendency of chatting with others and only chatting about the faults of the others, and then it could stir up lots of unnecessary issues. In the Tibetan Lamas and the Tibetan Jomos side, they all get up really early. Just very few of them would sleep in, but majority of them, I think 90% of them, would study with such great diligence because they really cherish all the resources that's provided by the academy to support their study and contemplation. Puchunwa said, I study all the life examples of the sacred ones. They are my inspiration. And then Daji proclaims the old masters of Rangzhen are, for me, the focus of attention within the Gatampa tradition as well as the Zen tradition. Especially recently, since we've studied the Shurangama Sutra and read into the biography of the great masters. Whenever we have such opportunities, we should read more into the great masters' commentary and their biography, and then contemplate up on the profound meanings of it. And then we can get inspired by the great masters, and then we can make the same kinds of aspiration. We will become the same kinds of masters that would propagate the teachings such as Shurangama Sutra, like Master Oyi. And then furthermore, Gyaltse Togme himself, virtue increases in dependence upon a virtuous friend, and this is the one who shows the great method for realizing the unborn. Attend to such a sacred being if he were an ornament on top of your head. He taught and practiced in this manner, attending to more than 40 spiritual teachers, such as the incomparable master Sonam Drakpa and Rinpoche Sherbumpa. Out of the 40 teachers, he relied mainly on these two great teachers.
Sunam dui tamshe zabanya tonno nibe jana pamshe Kirgananchi Ranong Chupa Ye Chupam Solen Roa Chor Shong